Alrighty, y'all. So yesterday I was able to speak to Wayne Burrow, who worked with Miss Violetta Wallace, who is the mother of Biggie Smalls, and managing her son's estate. Now he reached out to me, or I reached out to him, and then he was like, okay, I'm willing to get on the phone with you, because he says that a lot of people have been blowing them up following this documentary, and he wanted to speak out, and he made it clear that this is on behalf of Miss Violetta Wallace. He says there are a few allegations that he wanted to address from the doc. So number one, there's this allegation from the documentary that Diddy used Biggie's record label deal, or his own money, Biggie's own money, to pay for Biggie's funeral. So Wayne tells me that is completely not true, that he himself officiated the funeral and planned it along with Kirk Burrows, who is in the documentary, Bad Boy staff, and that Bad Boy paid for everything. At no point was there any indication that any royalty statement that this would be coming from Biggie's account. So the family never paid for anything in regards to the funeral. He said Bad Boy and Diddy covered everything from the cars to the police, to the funeral itself. And they wanted to make that clear. And he also says that it's disrespectful that anybody would even imply that, Miss Wallace, Biggie's mom, or any of his close friends would even be that naive to allow something like that to happen and not catch it as they're watching the royalty statements and just different things that are coming in. He also talked to me a bit about the contract conversation. So there is a claim in the doc, and this has been a claim that's been circulating for some time, that right before Biggie's passing, there was an issue with contract negotiations between Diddy and Biggie Smalls. He says that is completely not true as well. He says that life after death was already done, so there was no contract negotiations happening. He says based on the sales and of the records and how everything was moving, Biggie had already recouped. So at that point, there was nothing to be talked about. But they did go back into a negotiation because they put out more music following the death of Biggie Smalls. And the conversation they had then was just about how that would happen and, how splits would be. But that whole conversation around the contract and there being an issue with that as well, there's nothing to talk about. He says the contract was the contract and people just need to leave it at that.
And Barrow is Biggie's friend. He also managed Biggie at one point. He owned a remember that the what was it called? Oh, Jesus Christ. By Storm Entertainment. That's what they ran, which was a management company. I think they managed Shine at one point. They managed Nas at one point. They managed, of course, B.I.G. So he would know, right?
You mean Wayne Burrow?
Wayne Burrow. Yeah,
yes. Yeah, so he would know. And he also wanted to mention too that there was this Rolling Stone cover conversation. In the documentary, they alleged that Diddy. So Biggie was supposed to have this like Rolling Stone cover, and Diddy stepped in the way of that and said, "No, I got an album coming out. I want to get on this cover." That was like a big point of the documentary. He says that never been brought to them. They had never had a conversation with anybody about a cover whatsoever. So he doesn't know that there's any truth to that as what either, because they had never had a conversation about it, and they would have. Yeah. So
who do y'all believe? Because I didn't watch the doc, but wasn't it Kirk Burrows, who was the co-founder of Bad Boy and former president of Bad Boy, who said that they charged Biggie to stay for his funeral?
Yes.
So who do y'all believe?
If I have
Kirk Burrow and Wayne Burrow, they brothers.
No, so it's
it's
so I believe Wayne, and the only reason why I believe Wayne is
you shouldn't believe anybody. You're a journalist.
Well, you didn't. I didn't report from. I didn't report from what I believe. I report from what was actually said to me in fact. But you asked me a question, so I'm answering
it. Answer it.
Why did you ask it?
But that don't mean you have to answer it. Stay on your toes.
Oh my God, whatever. Whatever. And I was going to say the only reason why, if I am removing my journalist hat and just having an opinion after someone who watched the doc has been able to see both sides of it, I'm believing Wayne because he actively, up until the point that Miss Wallace passed away, was still involved in the estate, and he was saying that they had a process that they would do and it was Miss Wallace's wishes that they would do it this way, where they're not checking accounts and royalty statements just one time. She checked everything twice. It was very important for her to make sure that the money and everything was like paid attention to very heavily, because she wanted to make sure they didn't owe anybody anything, that they weren't up under anybody, and that they weren't being taken advantage of, because she wanted to make it where Biggie's kids and her grandkids could live a good life after he passed away and after she left this earth.
Would she be paying attention to something that happened so long ago, though, like in 1997, a funeral?
They said they was on it as soon as Big passed. They said they were on top of every last dime dollar, because they wanted to make sure that the kids would be straight for life.
Yeah, she said that was really important to her, even down to the fact that when they decided not to go back into a deal after they knew that Biggie recouped, that was her decision to do that. So she has been on it since. And he did say to me that the only reason why he's addressing this, he's not going to speak to anybody else, but he wanted to speak to us, and only wanted to address it because it's not fair fair for the people who, are an extension of Biggie's legacy to have to be dealing with a lot of these rumors and these different allegations resurfacing when they're just trying to live their life. And this is actually family to someone. Someone lost a father and so it's...
Why wouldn't he tell the documentary makers, though? Because I'm sure the documentary makers reached out to the estate. Like, when you're doing a documentary on the level of this documentary, I am almost positive that they reached out to Biggie's estate to ask questions.
He said he didn't want to be bothered until he didn't have a choice but to be bothered.
Oh, well, that's ridiculous, because now that whatever he's saying, I don't know if that's the truth or not. I don't know if those are facts, but I know the narrative, because of the documentary, is way bigger than anything that he could put out now.
I think they also told Loren that they hate the fact that Biggie's name is mentioned in all this BS, that they didn't want Biggie's name in this bull crap, and that was a part of it. But like what Charlamagne also said, like, salute to Wayne, he's actually been on the show, but what's the other guy's name?
Kirk.
If Kirk was doing the financing and he was the one that was paying the people,
he would know.
It was like, it's kind of like both sides, you know what I mean? Because you can hide money, right? You could say that, that we really paid for this producer, but it went to this. I mean, but there's no ways but.
And you can't discredit Kirk, because Kirk was the co-founder, Bad Boy, and the president at the time. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's always 2-3 sides to a story, so I'm just here to present them all as much as I can.
You already told us which one you believe.
No, I presented it first, and then you asked me a question. I can believe what I can believe.
So Kirk and Wayne cousins.
They're spelled differently. So Wayne and Kirk is spelled differently. The borough, yeah. Barrow, Barrow, and then Burrowes, Burrows, and then Borough.
Hey, these Diddy leftovers have lasted longer than Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Okay,
yeah.
I guess
there's gonna be more and more because people are coming out that people have been talked about.
It's still trending on X this morning. It was trending on X. I believe it was like number 5 or 6 across the US.
I just finished watching it yesterday. It's long.
Yeah,
and it just hit. I believe it just hit top 10 on Netflix. Let me look at what number
it was. Number 1 on Netflix.
I just said, let me look at what number. You on me this morning?
No, I'm not.
Dang, I said it hit top 10. Let me look at what number.
No, it's number 1. I know that. I mean, I saw 50 posted.
Yeah,
number 1.
I was headed to 50's Instagram.
Yeah, 50 posted is number 1. All right. Well, that is the latest with Loren. Thank you, Loren.
You're welcome.
Now, when we come back, we got front page news. Also, Jess will be fixing your mess. So if you have relationship issues or problems, you can call her up 800-585-1051. Now, today is December 4th.
Oh, now you're going to acknowledge that. Now you want to acknowledge that it's December 4th.
I handle the mix.
It's the anniversary of Pimp C's death, and it is Jay-Z's born day.
You got Big Pimpin'?
Oh, this is good. That's good.
That's both worlds.
I like how you thinking. Like how you thinking.
You got Jay-Z birthday.
I like how you thinking.
You got Pimp C.
I like how you
got
thinking.
both of them.
I like that.
You got it. All right, let's get that out. Happy birthday,
He a real
Hov.
DJ. He know what to do.
Tell him.
Exactly.
You already know what's up.
I don't know if he's a real DJ.
Shut up. It's the breakfast club.
Woke up. Wake you up. Wake that ass up. Program your alarm to Power 105.1 on iHeartRadio.